Imagine walking through a place where time has stopped. The buildings are still standing, but the laughter, the footsteps, and the life that once filled them are long gone. Instead, silence lingers in the air, and decay tells the story of what was left behind. Today, we are taking a journey into the shadows of history, exploring the top 15 creepiest abandoned places in the world. These places are not just ruins. They are haunted reminders of human ambition, tragedy, and sometimes sheer mystery. Let's begin with Pripyat, Ukraine. This city is perhaps the most famous abandoned place in the world, frozen in time since the Chernobyl nuclear disaster in 1986. Once home to nearly 50,000 people, Pripyat was evacuated overnight after the catastrophic reactor explosion. Today, rusting Ferris wheels, schools with textbooks still scattered on desks, and apartments filled with forgotten belongings give the eerie impression that residents left in a hurry and never returned. Nature has reclaimed much of the area, but the invisible danger of radiation makes it one of the creepiest ghost towns on Earth. Next, we travel to Hashima Island in Japan, also known as Battleship Island because of its fortress-like appearance. Once a thriving coal mining facility in the mid-20th century, it housed thousands of workers in tightly packed apartments. But when coal was abandoned for oil in the 1970s, the island was deserted almost overnight. Now, the concrete buildings stand in silence, battered by the sea and typhoons. Its decaying, fortress-like silhouette makes it look like something straight out of a post-apocalyptic movie, which is why it was even used as a filming location in the James Bond film Skyfall. On the outskirts of Detroit lies the Michigan Central Station, once one of the grandest railway stations in the United States. Built in 1913, it was a shining example of Beaux-Arts architecture. But as Detroit declined economically in the latter half of the 20th century, the station fell into disuse and was finally closed in 1988. For decades, its grand waiting hall stood in ruin, with shattered windows, graffiti, and crumbling walls. Many urban explorers considered it one of the creepiest places in America, a symbol of a once thriving city brought to its knees. Venturing into Italy, we find the town of Krakow. This medieval village sits atop a hillside, but centuries of landslides, earthquakes, and poor structural foundations made it unsafe for residents. By the 1980s, it was completely abandoned. Today, Krakow's empty stone streets, crumbling churches, and deserted homes make it look like a ghostly set frozen in time. Its haunting beauty has made it a popular filming location for movies like The Passion of the Christ. But walking through it alone feels like stepping into another world. Now let's move to Centralia, Pennsylvania, a small town with a terrifying secret. In 1962, a coal seam beneath the town caught fire and has been burning ever since. Toxic fumes, sinkholes, and dangerous ground temperatures forced nearly all residents to evacuate. Today, only a handful of people remain while roads are cracked and covered in graffiti, with steam still rising from the earth. Centralia inspired the horror video game and film series Silent Hill, and its apocalyptic atmosphere is enough to give anyone chills. Across the ocean in France lies Oradour-sur-Glane, a village destroyed during World War II. In June 1944, Nazi forces massacred 642 inhabitants, leaving the village in ruins. After the war, the French government decided not to rebuild it, but instead preserve it as a memorial. Today, visitors walk through silent streets filled with rusting cars, collapsed homes, and remnants of daily life, all left as they were on that tragic day. It is one of the eeriest and most heartbreaking abandoned sites in Europe. In Namibia, the desert town of Kolmanskop tells another kind of ghost story. Once a thriving diamond mining town in the early 1900s, it was abandoned when richer diamond fields were discovered elsewhere. Today, the desert sands have reclaimed the town, filling its houses, ballrooms, and even hospitals with dunes. Walking through Kolmanskop feels like entering a surreal painting, with sunlight pouring in through broken windows onto sand-covered floors as if nature itself swallowed the town whole. Back in Asia, the city of Varosha in Cyprus is another unsettling place. Once a glamorous tourist destination filled with luxury hotels and golden beaches, Varosha became a ghost town after the Turkish invasion of Cyprus in 1974. The city was fenced off and has remained abandoned ever since. Today, it stands frozen in the 1970s with hotels decaying, shops still filled with mannequins, and streets overtaken by plants. Only recently have limited parts been reopened, but the haunting silence of its abandoned skyline remains chilling. Another eerie site is Baudi, California, a genuine Wild West ghost town. In the late 1800s, Baudi was a booming gold mining town with saloons, gambling halls, and over 10,000 residents. But when the gold ran out, people left, and by the 1940s it was completely abandoned. Today, Baudi is preserved in a state of arrested decay, with homes and stores still containing furniture, dishes, and even clothing. Its isolated location and ghostly appearance make it one of the most haunted-looking towns in America. One of the strangest abandoned places on Earth is the island of Poveglia in Italy, located near Venice. Throughout history, it served as a quarantine zone for plague victims and later as a mental asylum. Thousands of people are believed to have died there, and legends say the soil is mixed with human ashes. Today, the island is officially closed to visitors, but stories of screams, strange shadows, and paranormal encounters make it one of the creepiest abandoned places in the world. We now head to Russia, to the town of Katakshan in Siberia. Built during World War II as a coal mining settlement, it thrived for several decades. But after the fall of the Soviet Union and a deadly mine explosion in the 1990s, the town was abandoned. Today, Katakshan is a frozen wasteland of empty apartment blocks, rusting playgrounds, and broken streets. The extreme cold preserves the silence, making it look like life was suddenly switched off. In Scotland, we find Slains Castle, a ruined fortress perched on dramatic cliffs by the North Sea. Built in the 16th century, it fell into ruin in the 20th century, and its eerie halls and roofless chambers have inspired ghost stories for centuries. It is even believed to have inspired Bram Stoker when he wrote Dracula. The combination of wild coastal winds, crashing waves, and a crumbling medieval castle makes it one of the eeriest abandoned sites in the British Isles. In Taiwan, we encountered the Sanji UFO houses, also known as the UFO ghost houses. Built in the 1970s as a futuristic vacation resort, these pod-shaped homes were abandoned before they were completed due to financial troubles and mysterious accidents. Many locals believe the site was cursed, and for years the colorful UFO-like structures stood deserted, looking like an alien colony left behind. Though some were demolished, the memory of these bizarre abandoned pods still creeps into the imagination of urban explorers. Finally, we end in Belgium with the Chateau Miranda, also called Chateau de Noisy. This stunning neo-Gothic castle was built in the 19th century as a summer home for aristocrats, later becoming an orphanage and holiday camp for children. But after it was abandoned in the late 20th century, it became a decaying monument to forgotten grandeur. With ivy crawling over its walls, broken towers, and empty halls, it looked straight out of a horror movie before it was sadly demolished in 2017. Still, the legacy of its haunting beauty remains in countless photographs and urban exploration stories. These places remind us of the fragility of human achievement. Cities once filled with life are now silent. Grand buildings stand in ruin. Nature reclaims what was once hers, and the stories left behind are as haunting as the empty rooms themselves. Abandoned places aren't just creepy because of what you see. They're creepy because of what you imagine. The laughter that no longer echoes, the footsteps that will never return, the dreams that crumbled into dust. If you enjoyed this journey into the creepiest abandoned places in the world, make sure to subscribe for more explorations into mystery, history, and the unknown. Because the world is full of secrets, and together we'll keep uncovering them.